This is Mandy,
And this is LeAnne.
and you're listening to Two Blonde Sleuths. All right. Welcome,
Hi.
LeAnne.
Hi.
Hey. Today, I'm going to tell a story, and the story is about Tasha Reese. And this one is a little bit different than any story that we've ever done because it actually happened in our hometown of Prattville, Alabama. It was a little bit bothersome to me that I didn't really know about the story. I feel like it was not talked about enough, and there was one article that I could find online. And so the other different thing about this story is I actually had to call, I didn't have to, but I called Tasha's mom. I just recently found out about this. A friend of mine shared it on Facebook because it's anniversary recently. And so that's how I went down this rabbit hole and dug into this case. And I want to tell LeAnne, I want to tell you about it. I know you've heard of it, but you don't know probably the details of the case, right?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think I was pretty young whenever it happened.
Yes. But yeah, my friend Stacy actually shared it. She went to school with Tasha, and so it's definitely something she remembers.
She was a year ahead of me in school.
Okay.
Tasha. I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and this happened in 1989, so I was 11. But it's not something that she was a junior. You must have been in the ninth grade. All right. So in the one article, that's where I got most of my information from. Like I said, I did speak with Mary, but we didn't talk a lot about the case. But I'm going to tell you about her, and after I tell you this story. So here's the story. Tasha Reese was a 16-year-old junior at Prattville High School. Tasha lived with her mother, Mary, her grandmother, and 5 siblings. It was the beginning of Labor Day weekend. That Friday, she went to school, and she had plans that Friday night to attend the Prattville Lions high school football game, which is what the whole town did on Friday night. Yeah.
Small town.
That's how we spent our Friday nights for sure at the Prattville Lions football game. Her mom, Mary, was at work when Tasha got home from school, but her grandmother was there and her older sister was there. That's Tasha's mom told me that. So when she got home, she changed clothes for the game and then she left. That night, Tasha never returned home after the game. And her mother definitely started worrying, but I think she thought, well, maybe she stayed with a friend. There wasn't cell phones, of course. So that night she went to bed very worried, but she got up the next morning and Tasha did not come back home. That's when she called the Prattville Police Department, Mary did, and reported Tasha missing. So after she called the police started the investigation and they figured out that Tasha never made it to the Prattville High School game, or did she make it to her friend's house? Because I don't know if I said she was walking to her friend's house and they were going to walk to the game. Yeah, because at Tasha's home, which Mary still lives in, it was close to the stadium. Mm-hmm. So she was just going to walk there. And like I said, she never made it. So between that time frame of her leaving her house and going to her friend's house for the game, she went missing.
Well, in Prattville in
89.
1989, there was never, that wasn't a concern for anybody. It's a small town, low crime, low.
Oh, we didn't lock our doors.
Yeah, we didn't lock our doors. We walked everywhere. We walked all over town.
There was no, worrisome for crime.
Yeah, there was no reason for her to be concerned about her doing that or that something bad had happened to her, really.
Absolutely not. That's why it's just so odd that we didn't hear more about it. Tasha was a black girl in 1989, and I think to myself, did they think that it was not as important in 1989? I don't mean that, necessarily a certain person. I just think that the case was sort of overlooked. It wasn't very reported. And it was in the paper. Well, there's a missing 16-year-old girl. That's pretty important. I mean, that should have been spread around the whole town. Everybody should have been looking for this girl. Everybody should have. That's my opinion.
But there's no internet. There's no nothing. It would have been posters then.
Posters is, I mean, there's been things in 1989 where the whole town was looking for a girl. This whole town was not looking for this girl. Okay. I will tell you that. I know that. I mean, maybe her family was looking and the police were looking, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Spread out, throughout the whole. All right. So just 2 days later, unfortunately, Tasha's body was found in Montgomery County in the Alabama River, and she was deceased, and her death was ruled a homicide. No cause of death was ever listed to the media, which I think they hold that close to the vest because if anybody ever finds out or knows the cause of death, then obviously they might have been.
Tip them off if they know or they were responsible.
She was found in Montgomery County, so this is now a Montgomery County case. Mary had to go and identify her daughter. Yeah, well,
it's not okay.
She said she felt like that was her duty, or it was somebody has to do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I guess that's the
But I
case.
guess there was something identifying on her to make them even contact her.
Well, she was the only person
Only.
missing. All right. So Tasha's funeral was held September 13th, 1989 at the Masedena Baptist Church of Prattville. Tasha had attended this church and was a very active member. Mary said Tasha was such a sweet and loving girl. She loved giving people hugs, especially her mom. The morning Tasha left for school that Friday, Mary said she hugged her really tight and her grandmother and told them that she loved them. She said, "You never know when that could be the last time that you tell somebody you love them," which is really sad and something you don't really always think about. She said that Tasha was a very good artist and that she has like a bunch of drawings. And she said when Emma and we wanted to go meet her next time we're in Prattville, and she was going to show me some of her drawings. But I do want to mention this case is not solved. Okay. And I believe this case is solvable for two reasons: that it's been 35 years. And I feel like somebody would talk now because it's been so long. And I also feel like with DNA, if hopefully they save DNA, there's advancements. I'm going to talk about that at the end. But let me tell you about Mary. So, Mary, her mother, which I spoke with, she's quite a special lady. She's lived in Prattville her whole life. She was the first Black nurse in Autauga County. She broke barriers for those to come after her, which I think is pretty cool. Prattville dedicated a pavilion to her in the North Highland Park. And also, just to mention really quick, Tasha was not Mary's biological child. Mary adopted Tasha from her childhood best friend after Tasha's biological mother passed when Tasha was just 18 months old. And she told me that Tasha was her baby. She loved her like her own. They didn't even talk about the adoption. That was her mother, which I think is really cool and just kind of shows what kind of woman Mary is, just her character. And like I said, it's been 35 years since Tasha's death. Mary is now 87 years old and still lives in the same house that she lived in when Tasha died. I do think that this case is solvable. I think that we need to get this case out there more. Since I said there's one article, 0 podcast on it. And I think I found one YouTube that just had a snippet of some unsolved Alabama cases. And this was on there. It's just something that I feel like even after all this time, it still could happen. Montgomery County has a cold case unit, and I saw that they just solved 3 cold cases recently. So hopefully somebody's working on this. Mary did say that a couple people have come to see her, like one within the past year.
Pretty promising.
Yeah, it definitely
But
is.
it's not like buried somewhere, then somebody's actually.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that they're actively, I think they go back and forth on cold cases, which, like I said, she said, I think they're working on it, but they just keep hitting a dead end.
Yeah.
But you think, okay, well, is that because they don't have DNA? Do they not have the funding for the DNA? Which I feel like if that's the case, we can raise money for it.
Yeah. But we don't. You've reached out to them and you can't get.
Nobody has contacted me back. And I couldn't quite find the person. Yeah. Who is the head of the cold case unit.
Yeah. Who could say this is, yes, I mean, I guess they probably wouldn't tell you that.
And you don't know if they would tell you. You know?
Can't.
Yeah. I'm putting it out there that if it's a matter of, I mean, now with genealogy, what was it that they solved? The really popular one, Golden State Killer. They found that through genealogy. They don't even have to be in CODIS. If these people responsible or person responsible for her death, if it's not in CODIS, it doesn't matter because you can use genealogy now.
Yeah, but it would have to mean that whoever picked her up either has to have submitted their DNA to one of those places or one of their family members.
No, it would be a family member, but I promise you a family member has, because I did 23andMe and I have 1,500 cousins that they list on there. It's really crazy. I mean, it would be harder if it's not someone a little bit close related, yes, because they've got to do process of elimination, that kind of thing. But that's how they solved it. So I know that it would help. And like Mary said, I think they just keep hitting a dead end. She said, I feel like that this case, I feel like it's going to be solved. She said it's in God's hands, which it is, of course. And I was told a theory about this case. There is actually an internet sleuth. I think he was one of the people that started the Justice for Tasha Facebook page. And he's doing like amazing things. He's working on 3 unsolved cases and he didn't want any recognition or any acknowledgement.
Is he from Prattville? Because 2 of those cases are Prattville cases.
They are. I'm not even sure if he is, but he didn't want me to mention his name or anything. But I will say that this person is just doing such great things. But I have heard a theory about Tasha's case, and I will tell you, or a rumor, I guess you could say. And I heard 2 different people from 2 different places. I heard this rumor, but one had some pretty solid information about on the rumor, right? Okay. So the rumor is, which to me makes a lot of sense, Tasha was picked up by 2 men I guess after she left her house, in a truck. And she either willingly got in the
And that's
truck.
because somebody specifically said these two men were driving a truck.
Yes. And I mean, it's a rumor that
Yeah.
it was these actual two men, and there's names too.
Yeah.
Like I said, she either willingly got in the truck or they abducted her. But they could have been like, "We'll give you a ride to the game," whatever, right? One
That's
man,
more feasible.
yeah,
It's like, hey, I'll give you a ride.
one man was said to have been from Prattville, possibly her neighborhood, and the other man was from Montgomery, and one of the guys has died, but I'm pretty sure the other one is still alive and walking free. Like I said, this case is solvable in two ways. Someone knows something and might be scared, might have been scared, but now maybe after 35 years, especially since one of the guys has died, that they're not scared to talk, and the other is DNA. And I did talk about that. Like I said, if it's funding, we can do it. We can help.
We can raise it.
Yeah, and even Stacy, her school friend that she went to school with, said I think a lot of her classmates would love to help donate the money.
Or for anything, really.
We've got the Facebook page if you want to go look at that, and I'm going to just go ahead and put that out there. But if you know anything, this out there, please contact the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office at 334-832-4980 or the Prattville Police Department at 334-595-0208. And there's also a secret witness hotline at 334-595-0259. And then that way, at least,
and we'll put all that on their stuff.
Yeah, we will. And go to the Facebook page. And I just feel like if we get this out there, it'll get people thinking about it, talking about it again.
Somebody has a bigger platform could probably find out more information than hands-on.
I would love to get it to an investigator. We are not investigators. We are not journalists.
Yeah.
We're just two blonde sleuths that tell stories.
Yeah.
That is really what we are, more of like storytellers.
Somebody who has the means and the ability to really talk to police and all that kind of stuff. With the journalism thing, like, we can't do that.
Well, I don't really know.
I don't know how much they could find out, but probably certainly more than we can.
Yeah, there is records that are supposed to be the public, but when it's an active case,
open, I don't know. Yeah.
It is still an open case. So I'm not really sure how much information you could get. But yeah, somebody like our favorite podcasters like Crime Junkies or Payne Lindsay.
Yeah, so that would be, I'm sure they could get something out of somebody.
Well, you can also investigate it themselves if they can't get it from the police. It's just the DNA thing they're not going to know.
Yeah.
They definitely save DNA. They do that, hopefully. Montgomery County did, but you hear of cases all the time that they do.
Yeah, sometimes if it's not stored correctly or something like that, I think it'll get compromised and they can't use it. So I don't know. I would just like to know all the details of what they have or haven't done.
And I also want to mention, so this is something, like I said, we want to get this case out there. We want to help Mary
have some closure.
She deserves closure. Yeah. She's 87 years old. It's been 35 years. And I would love to get this case to a bigger platform and get it out there. I would love to also do like a part 2, a continuance episode, and keep everyone updated on anything that does happen or that we find out.
Yeah.
I also want to mention, and I'll put this on our Facebook, we are doing our first fundraiser.
Yes.
And LeAnne's son, Mac, his band is going to play.
Yes.
Which is exciting. And
because he has a rescue dog.
Yes.
That got all of his rescue help from one of the rescue that we're doing.
One of the, we're sponsoring 2 rescues for this particular fundraiser. And like I said, they've just been so good to us. They helped us with Mac's dog. They took him in first. And
Wilson.
Yes, he's fostering to adopt, but he is going to, adopt him. And we just think that they're wonderful. It's 2 ladies that do it by themselves. Cookies Canine and Wolf Rescue. That's who we're sponsoring. So if you feel the need to donate or if you're local and you want to attend the event, it's October 19th. Mm-hmm. And you can do that. Like I said, I'll put all that info on our Instagram page.
Yes.
And Adopt, Don't Shop.
Yeah.
For sure. And thanks for listening.